records on maps. We have Leftovers playing in HGC, where they ended up in the 8th spot, the last spot. So their average win rate in HGC is at 24%. So this is still a map that is decent for them. I would say it's a map that's decent for both of the teams. Probably the most even balanced map for both of them at this point.
And we start off with a Hanzo ban. Samuro let through again. This is a much smaller map, so his global potential could be slightly mitigated if they are able to rotate well themselves. So we'll see if Granit Gaming still prioritize that and what they are going to ban. Last time was Maiev. It worked very effectively. They were able to take the game, sorry.
Now, you have to consider Tracer, though.
Yeah,
I agree with Maiev as a ban for sure, if you're still worried about how much she can impact this. But even though you just won against Tracer, this is another map where DAB could use the hero. You could basically run the exact same draft that Leftovers ran the last game. Tacita's fantastic here.
Yeah.
You have also then Tracer in play. And they ban out Malfurion. Great for...
It's a slight prevention for the Tracer, can actually limit it in that way. And as such, Tracer not picked up immediately. It's the Blaze coming in for Leftovers. So if Granit want to, Stukov Tracer could be a pretty solid opening.
Yeah. Blaze and Malfurion have been, as an opening, been extremely popular in the last 2 playdays of HGC Europe. And Blaze for the bottom lane is, of course, always a huge asset. The layered defense that you can have here with him is great for the big team fights, also great for any kind of boss play that we could potentially see. How is Granit Gaming opening this one up? I'm always a little bit skeptical when I see the early support ban still, because I feel the drafting in HGC Europe has started to move away from it slightly. We still see them occasionally, but more so we had other priorities where you, in particular, try to identify what's the troublesome heroes for us that our opponent likes to play and get rid of that. I mean, look at, for example, Team Liquid, who just ban out Tracer in nearly every game for like ages. Talking Tracer.
And Tacita. So not going with a Stukov immediately, they just get those empowerment tools in. So pretty cool to see. Tacita, of course, also very effective on this map. Good vision, good prevention of turn-ins, great wave clear. So Tacita fitting in pretty well, and we've seen Granit are comfortable to play the outside of the 2 immediate pick supports we've seen this season.
And also, when we're talking Tacita, we mentioned in the previous game how Granit Gaming has 7 wins and 2 losses with Hanzo. It's one of their go-tos. But the second, one of the best assassins that they have is also Tracer. They have 5 wins and 2 losses with her, so they definitely know what to do with Tracer in the setup. And if you are aware that Leftovers want to play Tracer here and you don't ban her out, then picking her in that position is great, because it adds a great hero that you're very comfortable with to your own lineup, but you deny to the opponent. There was, of course, always a risk that Leftovers would go for a Tracer first pick, but they seem to be willing to accept that. Now, on the other hand, wave clear galore on the 2 frontliners, with Leftovers opting for Johanna and Stukov for the silence.
That's pretty cool. Stukov on this map, very solid. Once again, there's so many choke points around those turn-ins that it can be a really big issue. And Johanna, combine that with any assassin, it actually opens up Chromie a little, which has had mixed success against Tracer. Great if you can get those bronze talons on her. Not so great if Tracer can get to you. So you can have issues there. Solid Maiev ban, preventing all of that grouping up with Johanna and Maiev combined together.
And also just simply respecting, again, the lessons that they learned from game number 1. And the evolution or the learning process throughout best of 5, but especially in this case a best of 7 series, is something we talked about from game 1. You need to be able to adapt. If you fail to do that, if you're not flexible in your drafting, then you have a problem. And Granit Gaming has that flexibility. We talked about the experience with Raid Boss being the main guy here for the team, with Napo, of course, always chipping in as well. There's people on this lineup that have so much experience in competitive heroes that they are able to deal with a situation like this. And at this point, Leftovers, what's going to be the ban on their end? Could see them targeting also supports here, even with Malfurion banned out, Stukov taken. Tacita reveals that you want to play the double support setup. What are you most worried about now?
So like Rhaegar or Uther would be pretty solid bans, depending on whether you want to go burst or damage over time. They remove Rhaegar. Very interesting. So we could see a little bit of that damage over time style. Makes Chromie a bit less likely, because Uther would have been the much more suitable ban there.
In the setup that they run, I would have even, if we're talking mages, I would have probably liked Gul'dan over Chromie. Just, they have wave clear, but they can depending on how Granit Gaming drafts the next 2 picks,
Yeah.
Leftovers could really just think about, okay, we're just gonna have so much wave clear that we're gonna play them to the wall. Never allow them to go for the 2 turn-in points. Always make sure that we get the turn-in first.
Neat.
Stitches comp.
Yeah, with a Tracer and a Phoenix, that is a lot of burst. This is probably not going to be a Gorge. I think this will be Putrid Bile. Combine that with Purification Salvo. You're going to have a pretty good time in terms of damage output.
I'm missing Lockdown. I'm really missing reliable stun from Granit Gaming. So Tassadar could play with a Force Wall if you wanted to, if you're trying to play around that. But I'm still missing something that provides stun. The lack of CC is something that worries me a bit with Granit Gaming, since normally when you play Stitches on the map, you try to have a follow-up stun available. Uther will provide that to an extent if they go into an Uther setup so that they have the stun there.
Who else could there be in terms of supports? Ariel, I guess, if you Tainment Strike into a Force Wall, could be really good. Cassia and Genji. There's a whole lot of squishies on the side of Granit. I'm kind of digging that.
So, what do we have left for supports? Oriel, Karazim, and...
Morales? This isn't Braxis Caldor. What's going on here? So,
I'm not a fan.
Phoenix. We've seen Stimdrome Phoenix before in HGC China, for example. It was terrifying, quite frankly. I think that was one of the games it won. But you mentioned as well, we're still missing Lockdown.
Yes.
This is really, it's got to be the Force Wall now, right? Unless, of course, we're going to see, like, just not going for the follow-up stun and just try to isolate heroes and just using Stitch for the Putrid Bile. But that brings up the question, why would you not have Muradin or someone like that?
Stitches has more AoE.
Yep.
That's one of the things that we... I'm just wrapping my head around a bit. Okay, what are, for example, other tanks that we could get? You mentioned Muradin already. It's great if you're trying to dominate a 4-man rotation. You're attempting to get Lockdown in and then follow up on that.
Arthas could have been potential.
Arthas is always a little bit troublesome as the main tank these days.
Yeah, especially as they hadn't picked their assassins yet.
We could have seen Garrosh. That's something that has not been played. It hasn't been banned out either. So that was definitely an option, something they didn't go for. Stitches has more wave clear available. You have the isolation factor, even if you don't run the CC behind it. But the complete lack of any kind of stun chain is worrying me a bit. They have, through Tassadar, Stitches, and Phoenix, they have some wave clear, but the wave clear is still better for Leftover. I like Leftover's draft a lot more since I feel it has more tools, more, like a huge variety of things that you can use to get to where you want to go. You can either play through the wave clear aspect, try and dominate the turn points. You have more CC available on your side, where you can try and lock down a kill. And you have a lot of defense through the blinds of Johanna, through Blaze with the bunker. So currently Leftovers on this map, I like what they're running.
Well, let's find out if Caldor is right as we move into game number 3 in this best of 7 series. Granit Gaming versus the Leftovers. And spawning on the left-hand side, it is the Leftovers. And playing for them, Blaze, played by Potiboss, Cassia, played by Diaby, Genji is being played by Blakitny, Johanna by Loba, and Stukov being played by Linked.
Granit Gaming with the last pick, Morales, played by Gnappi here, have now to showcase that their draft is going to be strong enough to take the opponent down. Minecraft on Tassadar this time. We have Olf on Stitches, Raid Boss on Phoenix, and Kira on Tracer.
Caduceus feedback. The more standard these days level 1 talent for Morales ever since the clear grenade build was nerfed. This is the best energy output you can say that isn't reliant on your opponent continuing to auto-attack you if you go for the safeguard build.
Also, we have a Thunderstroke build taken, so full focus on Lightning Fury here with Cassia. Huge fan of the build. If you've never really played it, then definitely give it a shot. It's extremely fun to play, and especially once you're stacked and you have your level 13 talent available, you get huge damage out. Talking about huge damage, Kirva already getting quite the beating here as he's looking for some potential kills here with Tracer.
Stitch is going for slam build, no cheeky tank build, which could lead into a fishing hook, so this is going to be all about extra slows, extra AoE damage, like you mentioned, to empower that Phoenix. Right now I'm looking at this, and this seems like a just empower the Phoenix, empower the Tracer comp, and everything else is just about that.
So outside of that, Tracer now at the bot lane being attacked by Genji, but we have a setup in which Genji is going to try and make these rotations happen. So traditionally, the old school traditional play for the map is a 4-1 setup where 4 heroes are rotating between the top and the mid lane, and then you have a solo laner down at the bottom.
Yep.
Genji kinda mixes things up a little bit because he is so quick in rotating between lanes that he can always put pressure onto the bot lane and just balance that one-on-one in your favor. But at this point, Granit Gaming is more or less running 2 heroes at the bot lane, so Genji is rotating over, but he still has also the tools to go into the middle. Oh. That was a really cool move by Podeboss that just didn't quite connect with Minecraft, and he immediately gets punished by a hook against him, so Olf able to make the towers hit Blaze a little bit harder. But still showing the aggression that Leftovers are willing to put out on the map, trying to rotate and then use those stun chains that we've been talking about earlier to attempt and get a kill.
Yeah, and Leftovers are clearing lanes far quicker than Granit Gaming, so no one's really missed any minions yet, but the XP is just creeping ahead by Leftovers, so even though the XP is technically even in terms of soak, it's being grabbed quicker by Leftovers.
Yeah. In the early game with the tools that the Leftovers have, it's really nice. That could be the kill here. Nice move.
Got him. Nice.
Nappa, what a play again. Great grenade here from him, allowing the kill. Genji would have been able to move out of this one. But you talked about the wave player, and I think the rotation that we see from Leftovers is actually really difficult to attack by Granit Gaming, since you not only have all the defensive tools around Johanna, but also you're having the silence. And that is a massive, massive deal here. But the early kill for Granit Gaming is definitely quite worth it. Talking about talent adjustment, by the way, we have on Tassadar not heading into the extra life leech. Instead, we're actually seeing the extra armor. So already worried about burst, and therefore attempting to get that in to save targets that are getting isolated or focused down.
Yeah, this is good protection for also Morales. It's not just about DAB, by the way, great escape. But this is not just about Tracer and Phoenix. You have a Morales you have to protect. You have a Stitches who the armor is such a big deal with due to how tanky he actually is. So yeah, I kind of dig it. You have 2 great assassins, you might as well sustain everyone.
Yeah, and also now with the bot lane, you talked about how just Cassia barely got away, but the camp was stolen.
Yeah.
That was a really cool invade because Granit Gaming was attempting to go for it and put the extra pressure onto the bot lane, but the opposite happened as the Leftovers went for the invade and got the camp and didn't even lose Cassia there. And talking about Cassia, so far, DAB is actually stacking very nicely. Yeah. We're only 3.5 minutes into the game, and he's sitting at 17 stacks already, so pretty respectable.
Pretty beastly, honestly. He's doing really well. It's not an easy ability to hit. Very small hitbox in general. Hook just short of landing on said Cassia. But, I mean, Cassia, look at her. She's easily potentially the best assassin pick for this composition. You have Tracer and Phoenix. So much physical armor to prevent. There's so little immediate lockdown to prevent that physical armor. I really love this pick. I haven't emphasized that enough.
Yeah, it's also a lot about the auto-attacking abilities. You talked about something in the draft that I thought was pretty cool. You talked about China, and you talked about how we had Stim Drone used on the auto-attacker. Yeah. Now, that's a fantastic setup with how much hit power someone like Phoenix has, but if there's a blind that all of a sudden comes through,
ooh, yes.
Well, that basically negates the entire heroic ability. So if that's played well, and if Cassia holds back the blind for these situations, there's actually a lot where they can just interrupt the entire game plan of Granit Gaming.
Hook lands on Loba, but it's Loba. There's no damage follow-up. It's just a sort of disruption of rotations here. Morales, physical therapy here. Going to be good removing slows, which is pretty nice when you're against someone like a Blaze with all of that oil to add in extra slows. And we're also Hook just missing DAB here. We are seeing Tassadar just with the standard extra range.
Now, we haven't seen a turn in yet. We're currently looking at both the teams with 23 to 25 gems turned in. Minecraft now busy up at the top trying to get the first Web Weaver wave. So far, we have only seen the early game kill that was provided by Tracer. But definitely a lot of rotations happen currently where both teams are trying to prevent the turn in on the other side.
Stukov standard silence build, growing infestation, and within my reach. So going to be staying very far in the back, but I mean, very little to Tracer, so needs to be careful. Speaking of careful, another Hook just missing.
30 stacks on DAB's Cassia, and 10 away from completing the quest talent. Very early in the game here, doing a great job with this. Turning on the other hand, interrupted as Blake Kidney moves in.
Loba also here for denials. 16 gems on Kurwa. He would love to turn in with the amount of heroes just poking him here.
Both, if you look at the minimap, both of the teams are so eager to turn in, and both are just running around the 2 turn-in points. The entire lineup is just spread across the map, since it's all about getting the objective right now. The idea is, of course, always to get... It's a very late first objective, by the way. We're very late in the game already. Both teams hitting around level 9. Usually we have a turn-in by this time. But the team that turns in will have the earlier level 10.
Yeah, and it's definitely not for lack of trying. Both teams are actually doing their best to turn this in. We're actually spending a lot of time in the turning point, as opposed to in lane here, as we see the extra pressure being piled on. Blaze misses the thrusters, almost puts himself out of position. Kura able to blink back. Napa arrives up, quick heal, hook on low, but not the right target. Blakitney, nice zoning though, and that is exactly enough gems for the turn-in, and the first Webweaver wave goes to leftovers.
39 stacks on DAB, and a lot of this, by the way, there it is, completed 6 minutes and 47 seconds into the game. Fantastic quest progress from DAB on Cassia. A lot of this came also through the continuous attempts to turn in, because he had just easy targets there. Here come the Webweavers now. And that's the perfect time. They will hit the level 10 slightly faster than Granit Gaming, and maybe with that small window that they should have in level 10s, they might even be able to get something done. But actually it looks like Granit Gaming is hitting it at exactly the same time point.
Yeah, these two teams are so close to the XP, but here is level 10 just first for leftovers. Valkyrie coming in. That's their engage tool. I'm digging it. Johanna lacks a bit of that hard engage. Valkyrie certainly doesn't, and the kill on Phoenix is such a big deal. Bot lane is... well, it's in a lot of danger now.
Yeah. Especially Knappa has no wave clear. And Kiava, who comes in now and tries to help out, doesn't have that either. Oh my god, that shot was fantastic. Can they go for Kiava? Does have one.
Blinks two.
Blinks, and he is down. What a play by leftovers, and fantastic job here by Stukov.
The ganking, lurking, not lurking up, sorry, massive shove. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's really cool to see.
And especially in comms, you know, you count, of course, how many times did Tracer use Blink. And once you have knowledge, she's out of blinks right now. Get the job done at this point. They put her into a corner, got one blink back, tried to use it. That wasn't enough to move back. Had even already used his E. Great and fantastic move here on the side of leftovers. They got the fort and they got the kill. Double kill, actually. Phoenix and Tracer, both of them fell during the Webweaver wave.
Phoenix, by the way, is going for Planet Cracker. I really thought they were setting up here for a full slow build for Purification Salvo, but looks like he wants to side lane a little bit. Mycroft, Valkyrie hits Morales. She gets focused down. Easy kill. Phoenix deleted as well. Ulf, flee Ulf, but his slow is countered by the oil of the blaze there. Bunkers dropped. Fort will drop. What a play by leftovers.
They just lost an insane amount of gems here. Granit Gaming is basically... they are more or less on the ropes now, because this is leftovers with level 13 talent in a few seconds. They have another turn-in for themselves. Granit Gaming doesn't even have enough to get the first one completed.
Yeah, they lost almost all their gems. Now they're facing Webweavers and double mercenaries. Bot mercenary being taken by Genji. Bruisercamp taken by Blaze and Stukov. These two are the two lanes where the fort is 1 gone and 2 basically dead. Top lane is pretty healthy, but that means that's the lane leftovers can focus.
I also really question the choice of Planet Cracker in this setup. I'm really not a fan.
Normally, Salvo works with everything, with Tacitar.
Exactly, and also, how much, even if you get a great setup where Stitches goes in with a Putrid Bile first and starts to slow people, how much do you really get out of Planet Cracker? You can, I guess, use it in a straight line defense if your opponent is aiming with the Webweavers for one specific keep.
I guess.
But
clear Planet Cracker? Are we on Praxis again?
Yeah, like, I'm really trying to wrap my head around that pick, because normally when you go for Planet Cracker, you want to have a CC chain that you can use.
Oh, this time the Valkyrie not landing, but Tracer is still killed off. Clutch dimensional shift by Minecraft to keep himself alive. But now there's a huge amount of pressure onto the tier 2s.
Yeah, they are getting completely dominated, and that's what I was very afraid of when we saw the draft. The wave clear alone, the CC, they're going again, the silence is there, and Stitches is down the leftovers. They're not taking any prisoners in game number 3 here. 7 kills against 1, a 4-level lead at this point. They're going through the keep, and they're absolutely dominating Granit Gaming now.
They are 10 seconds left, which means the core will not be threatened here, but the second keep will be. This will go down as well. Meaning that, well, if Granit Gaming die here, it's game over.
You just go for core. You have a double talent advantage.
Oh my god, they do! As we see, I didn't even notice. The Pulse Bomb doesn't even land, hits a minion. Core slowly whittled down. Nice Planet Cracker, actually, but Deflect blocks a lot of the damage from getting. Link just stands in it. There's the push. Valkyrie does not land, but Tracer, Stim Drone is in danger, especially saying as the healer is deleted by the Dragon Blade. But they're running out of tools to go for the core here. They're out of minions. Kuruma's alive, which makes this core push very risky, but it's still 5v4. The shield is still down.
The core's falling down to 60%, and they're going for the root, and down goes Phoenix. Once again, as leftovers go in, get the kill against Tracer. They go for the core, and that's going to be the lead in the series. Leftovers fighting for their HGC spot and defeating Granit Gaming in game number 3.
Nicely played.